Hello. I just got home from work. This is Monday night. Well, technically Tuesday morning now, but it's still Monday night to me. I often tell people that all my friends are dead, but that's not really true. I have a few friends from back in the day who haven't died yet, but not many. And one of my dearest, very close friends, Brian Belcher, messaged me on Facebook Messenger yesterday. He's 2 years younger than me. I first met him in 1989 when I was 16 and he was 14. I was locked up in Salem. I just turned 16 when I got locked up, and I was there for 8 months, and then so I was still 16 when I got out. And while I was in there, my younger brother, who was Belcher's age, my younger brother Tim was 14. He had formed a heavy metal band. My brother played bass, and Brian Belcher played guitar, and Brad Harper was the vocalist. And they had heard of me, but I had never met them. They had never met me. And my brother told them, well, hey, man, my brother's locked up right now, but when he gets out, he'll play lead guitar in the band. So they were just waiting for me to get released from Salem, and then I got out and I joined the band, and we were pretty good. We wrote a bunch of songs, and we didn't really go anywhere, but we were decent for what we were. And I ended up getting locked up again, so the band wasn't a band very long, but we were friends from that point on. Lifetime. I mean, lifelong friends, man. And Belcher ended up moving away to Hickory, North Carolina when he was 18. So he's been in North Carolina for the past 30 years or so. But, I mean, we've remained close for decades. I mean, I would go see him in North Carolina. He would come and see me in West Virginia or Tennessee or Florida or wherever the hell I was at. And we always would talk on the phone even before the internet or long before social media. But then, of course, MySpace came along in like 2000 and whatever. So we started messaging each other on MySpace in like 2006. Then we switched to Facebook in 2009 or whenever that migration happened. And so we've just been keeping in touch, man, for years. Close. And like I said, we were messaging yesterday, which was Sunday. And we got to talking about music. And he sent me a link. He was like, check this out. And it was a YouTube video of Norah Jones's song "Come Away with Me." And by this point in the conversation, I was in Walmart with my wife Carissa, so I didn't click on the YouTube video. But I mean, there was no need. I probably wouldn't have clicked on it anyway. But I mean, we were in public, so I didn't. I mean, because I know what "Come Away with Me" sounds like. I mean, it's an okay song, not really my type of music, but of course, Norah Jones has one of the most beautiful voices on planet Earth. I mean, we all know that, right? But it's just not something you would expect Brian Belcher to be said to. Anyway, I mean, Brian Belcher, man, is a hard drinking, hard fighting son of a motherfucker, dude. I'm telling you, man, this dude is nasty on guitar too, man. But I mean, he's like, the type, man, tough as hell, but but got a big heart, but you don't want to get on their bad side. You wouldn't want to fight this dude without like a ball bat, trust me, or I wouldn't anyway. But but yeah, he sent me Norah Jones "Come Away with Me," and I clicked heart on it, and I wrote back Norah's awesome, and I even looked at the link above my words to make sure I was spelling Norah's name right. Did she spell it Nora or Norah? Norah, and it's with an H. Norah. So I wrote back Norah's awesome, and then he clicked heart on that and wrote back one more word: unbelievable. And then that was that. My wife and I left Walmart and we came home. And so then I'm later on that night, Carissa and I are lying next to each other on the bed and the television's on, and she's doing her thing on her phone, and I'm reading a book on my phone on my Kindle app. I have a Kindle, but I don't use it except in the bathtub at night. That's when I use my waterproof Kindle. But normally I'm just reading on the Kindle app on my phone. LP Hernandez's latest collection, that's what I'm currently reading. I haven't finished it yet, but it's friggin' killer, man. I was on the story, The Last Man on Mars, and it is phenomenal. And I normally don't even like sci-fi, but this one is killer, trust me. But that's the story I was reading. And lo and behold, I heard Come Away With Me by Norah Jones. So I looked up from my phone and I looked at the TV. I was like, what the fuck is that? And Chris is like, J-Lo movie, Made in Manhattan. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, that's Norah Jones. I guess she's on the soundtrack. And I was like, yeah, Brian Belcher sent me a link to this video earlier. And Chris is like, Belcher sent you a link to Come Away With Me by Norah Jones? I was like, yeah, it's a long story, man. But yeah, we were talking about music and great vocalists and stuff, and he sent me a Norah Jones video. And she's like, that's weird. I was like, yeah, I know, but you know how we are. Anyway, so that's all. But then I was like, well, man, I want to hear some Norah Jones now. Can we pause this movie? She's like, yeah, man, because she was doing her thing on her phone. The TV's just on for background noise anyway. So she paused the Made in Manhattan movie, and I backed out of my Kindle on my phone and went to YouTube, typed in Norah Jones, and we didn't listen to Come Away With Me because a bunch of live performance videos popped up, and I clicked on one of those, and it was Norah Jones with a short hairdo and a guitar, man, and a whole band with her. She rocked it, man. We just listened to a couple songs, but you know how Norah Jones is. She can rock it with a piano, a guitar, no instrument, any instrument. It really doesn't matter, man. She's all world musician. But we listened to a couple songs. I was like, all right, I'm cool. And then I went back to reading. Well, anyway, I'm at work tonight by myself in the MDX cell. I work at an automotive factory, and I was in the MDX cell, and I get an Instagram message request from this dude named Russell, who's a mutual friend of Brian Belcher's and mine. Belcher introduced me to this dude like 20 years ago. He lives in Hickory, North Carolina. And he's older than I am, man. I'm 49. He's got to be like 60 or some shit. But he's like, man, I didn't know how else to get a hold of you, so I looked you up here on Instagram, man. I got some devastating news. Brian Belcher died Saturday in a head-on collision. And I was like, man, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? I just talked to Belcher yesterday on Sunday. Like, for half the day, man, we went back and forth. He's like, well, I don't know what to tell you, man. All I know is he's dead. It's on the news. It's on TV, and I'm devastated. And then, right, just a few seconds later, Carissa, my wife, messages me that she just works at the hospital a few miles away from the factory that I work in. And she's like, what's up? I'm like, man, this dude Russell just messaged me on Instagram and told me that Brian Belcher died in a head-on collision Saturday. And she's like, you just talked to Belcher yesterday. I'm like, I know. And she's like, well, I hope it's not true. And I'm like, man, I'll just message him. So I go back to our thread from yesterday, right under his last word, unbelievable. And I'm like, dude, are you okay? Russell just messaged and told me that you were dead. I just spoke with you yesterday. And he did not reply, but I mean, that's not unusual. Sometimes I'll message him and he won't answer me for a day or two, and vice versa. Well, like 30 seconds later, man, you know how women are when they want to find something out. 30 seconds later, man, I get a message from Carissa. Oh my God, baby, I'm so sorry. It's true. He died yesterday in a head-on collision at 5:40 p.m. Russell just had the dates wrong. Because Russell had not seen him in a while. He told me that. Anyway, Brian Belcher, from now on, whenever I hear Come Away With Me by Norah Jones, of course I'll think of you. But chances are, you won't be very far away from my mind anyway. R.I.P., brother. I'll leave a screenshot of our final conversation in the comments. Have a nice night.